I don't know why I always pictured the person saying perfect in Street Fighter was Sagat. I don't know why in my head, the person who was going perfect was Sagat.
I can't necessarily say anybody else's, of the cast of Street Fighter 2.
I don't know if it was, because there was kind of just like a general, like kind of announcer voice, right? So I'm sure that's all it was. But yeah, fight, you wins. I was always so confused at that as a kid. I was like, his name is Ryu. What are you talking about? And then I'm like, oh, I get it. Like they're actually kind of pronouncing it the way it's supposed to be. And there's, you just barely hear that R, especially on the, compressed vocal sample on a Super Nintendo. All you're going to hear is you. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pursuing Pixels. My name's Kevin Portelli, and I'm here tonight with John Hines.
Hey there.
And Randall Nolery.
Hey, folks.
And after a few little technical difficulties and hiccups here to get the ball rolling to start the episode here, I think we're, knock on wood, ready to roll here and get talking about some video games. Yeah, fingers crossed. But yeah, I don't know anything you guys want to mention before we just get rolling right into the games here this week.
Let's jump in, not tempt fate.
What's there to mention these days? Yeah,
seriously.
Oh, anything happening?
Only things to avoid mentioning. Yeah. Seriously. Oh man, and thankfully we've got some video games as a distraction here as of late. I don't want to speak for you guys, but I've definitely been doing a little more gaming than usual lately to just kind of keep myself distracted as of late. And I've been on a little bit of that Metroidvania train. I know last time we sat down proper and talked about some games, I mentioned Record of Lodoss War, Deedlit, and Wonder Labyrinth. I don't believe I had beaten the game at the time that we talked about it last. I have fully polished it off. Wow. And I got to just say, I'm not going to really talk about it all that much here, but it's just an absolutely fantastic, I'll call it a mini Metroidvania, because I'll say I beat the game in probably less than 5 hours, which is fantastic. I mean, I just really love the length. I mean, it could have used maybe a little bit. If it would have been a little longer, I wouldn't have been mad. But by no means was I, finishing the game thinking, what a disappointment that was so short or anything like that. But it just felt, I don't know, the momentum just felt fantastic. Presentation, top to bottom, was just amazing. The music, pixel art, all stuff I said last week, but that just carried through all the way to the finish line. It even had like a nice, like kind of, as someone who doesn't have any frame of reference for the manga or the anime or anything like that, like the way it ended with the story beats and stuff like that, it kind of hit home a little bit. I was like, man, this is touching. I very much enjoyed that, the way the game kind of wrapped up. So, but that being said, I've just been on like I mentioned, a little bit of a Metroidvania kick, kind of jumping off of after you guys have talked about some of the Castlevania GBA games and a few other games that have, come up in recent memory. So I decided to pop in my physical copy of Cave Story Plus, that is, on the Switch, which unfortunately is published by Nicalis, but nonetheless, I don't know if you guys remember when I mentioned this before. I don't think I talked about it on the podcast proper, but there is like a Switch bug where if you boot the game up, it like won't get past like the opening like title screen if like a certain condition is met.
Yep.
And like what I had to do was delete my save file and like get back in and just start from scratch.
Yep.
And then I played
Had
through.
The same
I'm
one.
Okay, yeah, and I'm getting close to the end of the game here. I don't remember exactly how long it is, but I know it's on the shorter side as well, probably like a 4 or 5, 6 hour game or so. And I am in the part where I feel like I'm getting to the point where the game's kind of like crescendoing and getting to the climax. And then I went to go play it again, and I had the same exact bug happen. And I was like, oh my God, you gotta be shitting me. And I was to the point where I was like, you know what? I have Cave Story 3D, and like I don't necessarily love how that game looks, the 3DS version, and like all the low poly 2.5D stuff that Nicalis did. But part of me was like, you know what? I really want to finish this game, so I'm tempted to give it another shot. And I decided to look it up again on online, and I ended up on, I think, the same Reddit thread that I found before that told me to delete my save file and that would fix the issue. So apparently the bug is tied to specifically if you pick the Organia soundtrack, which is the closest to the original version of the soundtrack, if not the original. And then if you get to a certain point or something, it like corrupts the save file. You can't get past that.
Wow.
But there was an edit on the Reddit thread that I either missed before or was added since the last time I looked that says you don't have to delete your save file. All you have to do is fully power down your Switch, like not put it into sleep mode, hold down the power button, turn it all the way off, boot it back up. And I tried this. I haven't played it again since, but I at least was able to get past that opening title screen and like get into my save file.
Okay.
Now I'm nervous. I'm like,
What?
I don't know if I'm going to have to do that each time I play it from this point on, or if I should just go into the settings and change the soundtrack that I'm using. Although I will say I do love that Organia soundtrack, and just to get into the game itself proper and not just like, languish on these bugs here. But it is a little bit annoying, but I'm glad that I found a workaround, and I'm glad I don't have to start back over from scratch on this game. But I am like shocked at how much of this game I'm remembering, like almost like, not photographically or anything like that, but like everything that happens, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. Oh yeah, I remember this. And I've only played the game twice. I played it on WiiWare, and then I played it again on, I guess, on Switch when I would, and maybe a little bit on the 3D,
3DS version.
the 3DS version. But I never beat that version. But I think I got far enough to where I got that corrupted save file on the Switch version back when, and never, fully polished it off. But just even like stuff where I was like playing the game and I was like, I could have sworn you could like fire your gun downwards and use that to like propel yourself upwards.
Yeah, you could.
And it wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't working. And I was like, why isn't this working? Like, why do I remember being able to do that in this game? And then I number one, had to upgrade to the like machine gun later on to get that ability.
God,
And
what
you
a
have to,
good game.
Yeah, it feels so good.
And you have to
does.
level that machine gun up with like the little gems that the enemies drop to get it to like max level 3. And all the weapons have their own separate level up system. And just the pixel art is so, I don't, we were talking about this just before we
it's
started.
dialed in. It's so good.
And like, it's so minimalist and like primitive in a way, but it's just got so much personality and charm. And like, obviously another game that comes immediately to mind is like Caro Blaster from the same developer, but like even something like A Short Hike, or like, there's just something about these games that have that energy and this like singular vision that's just like, one person made this, like you were saying, John, like just purely out of the love of making this specific game. And it's just a masterpiece. Like, this game was made and released completely for free in 2004. And like I said, has unfortunately been like a little bit like bastardized by Nicalis and like re-released over like 25 different platforms with 4 different versions of the soundtrack. None of them are the actual original. Like, it's just, it's a shame that this is the case. But nonetheless, Cave Story Plus, outside of the bugs and stuff like that, it has just taken me back to exactly how I felt the first time I played it, or even when I played a game like Knit or Knit or however the heck you say it. Some of those freeware games that I've played back in the day. Like, it's just awesome stuff. And I'm really excited to pop it back in and polish off the remaining maybe, 25 or 20%, if that, But there's just every moment, every beat that I've gotten to in the story, and there's like just enough dialogue to like get you invested in the emotions of the characters, but like it's not long-winded or anything like that. Like, the momentum just keeps moving along. It's such an inspired game, and it's every bit as amazing as it was more than 20 years ago when it first came out. And not that I played it then, my first time was probably in 2010 on the WiiWare release, but I'm so glad that this game somehow manages to live on in whatever way, shape, or form. I think the freeware version's still available, so
which is so sweet.
But
yeah, go play
it's
it.
awesome.
There's
the
a way to
original,
play
like,
it. Go
Spelunky.
play it.
Yeah.
It's worth your time.
It is.
Seriously. But that being said, to go on to another Nicalis published physical game when I was just super bummed that I thought Cave Story that I was just gonna have to start over from scratch, and I was like, I got to move on to something else. And I was like, you know what? I have that physical copy of The End Is Nigh from Edmund McMillan and Tyler Glaliel, I think is how you pronounce the name. I'm not 100% sure, but they've now gone on to, release the very recently released game Eugenics that's been in development for quite some time. But like I was telling these guys before we started here, I was under the impression that The End Is Nigh was like an earlier game from the Team Meat folks and like, you know, pre-Super Meat Boy or right around that same time at least. But very much not, you know, not the case. It's came out in 2017. So I guess it's still a little bit older at this point, but playing it the other night, I played through like the first like 3 worlds or so. And, it, you know, for what it's worth for me, Edmund McMillan, like, I'm not into the sense of humor. I'm not into, like, you know, Binding of Isaac, poop humor. And I know I hate to just totally dismiss it because I do feel like he has something to say in his own way, but it just doesn't resonate with me at all personally. Like, I don't find the humor funny really in any way, shape, or form. Like, this game starts off and you're like playing for like a quick second and you like die right away, and it like cuts to like I think it's the character that you play as, and you're like acting as like it's a cutscene, and you're like acting like you're a streamer, and he's like, oh fuck, I died again, and it's like this just this stupid cutscene and all these like potty humor jokes, and it's not for me at all. But that said, the gameplay is fantastic. Oh my god, it's so good. Like, it took me it felt like I was just playing a sequel to Super Meat Boy almost, with just some slightly tweaked mechanics. But you know, the game feel and the speed feels like right on par, but the levels are stitched together. It's not like a Metroidvania per se, but it is like a kind of a little bit like a VVV where like every stage is like a single screen level, but you get to the exit of that level and it scrolls to the next screen, or it doesn't scroll, but snaps, you know, right to the next screen on the stage. And there are potentially like, there's the main path, but there might be a 1 tile wide hidden gap at the bottom between the spikes. And if you happen to see it, you can get down there and, you know, find a hidden path and find a few secrets and stuff like that. But even like the secrets, like you're literally like collecting tumors. And it's just like, I'm not into the humor. It's
Binding of
just
Isaac stuff. Yeah.
It's just for me. I will go on to say I borderline hate it. Like, I don't like that at all. But that will, I feel like, go on to say how much I love the gameplay of the game, because like I said, I ripped through the first like 3 sections or zones of the game, and I'm very much intending to just keep playing this game. The only thing that kind of stuck me up and like kind of got me to stop playing is because I found one of those tumors that was like so on the cusp of like, I can almost get it and I know what I need to do. I just need to execute it perfectly. And I just like kept trying it and trying it and trying it. I mean, I've probably played this game for 30 to 45 minutes, and I think I've died over 200 times just like trying to do this exact jump perfectly. But it has that like Super Meat Boy. Yeah, it's got that like just immediate, the second you die, you just respawn, try it again. And there's just no downtime to even, not even enough downtime to think about, maybe I'm done. You're just like, I almost had it. Let me do it again. But I'll say like, I love the presentation apart from like the humor and like the cutscenes and stuff like that. I do really love the pixel art and the, just, I don't know. It's got like a really cool, like every zone's got like its a kind of own theme to it as any, you know, exploration game or Metroidvania would have, or even any, you know, any Mario game where World 1 is the grasslands and World 2 is the desert and, you know, so on and so forth. It's got that kind of stuff going on, but just really satisfying if you're in the mood for like a precision platformer that's got like those bite-sized challenges that are like spread out just far enough to where like, it's brutal, but you're making progress every time because you're just like, okay, I got over that hurdle, on to the next one. But it's really cool stuff. And like I said, it's a shame that a bunch of these cool games have been published by Nicalis over the years. But nonetheless, I guess I'm still glad I have a physical copy of it on my shelf and can pop it in and play it from time to time. But End Is Nigh, I guess if you can look past, or if you're into that kind of humor stuff, definitely recommended, because I love the feel. And really the only difference in the gameplay, like you can't, you know how like Super Meat Boy, you could kind of run and like do a wall jump, but you kind of like run up the wall almost. This game is more based around those, like these little hooks and like the corners of ledges. Your character can kind of like, I don't know if you don't have any arms, you kind of play as like this blob character and you're just kind of like biting onto it with your teeth. And then if you like, you can do, if you're biting onto a wall or hanging onto a wall that's on the right side of the screen, for example, and then you want to jump across to the left, if you hold down to the left and jump, you'll like do a way further jump. So that's kind of like the main, I guess, like movement mechanic that they're working with. Like otherwise there's no double jumps, no anything like that. Like it's just pure precision, but it just feels really great to play. Like just a little bit floaty like Super Meat Boy is, but in a way that it gives you like a little more time to like finesse your positioning in the air to land just right. It feels great. So got kind of some positives and negatives on that game.
Dialed in.
Yeah. You can definitely feel like when I first started playing it, I was like, man, this is crazy how much this feels like a sequel to Super Meat Boy. Like I said, when I first started playing it, I was thinking it was a much older game. So I was like, man, this is crazy how much it just feels like a continuation of that. And then when I realized it came out 7 years after Super Meat Boy, I was like, oh, well, duh. It feels like exactly the same game, just like with a slightly new twist put on it. But I'd still say I prefer the presentation of Super Meat Boy. Like it still has a little bit of that kind of brand of humor too. Like, oh, Dr. Fetus and whatever the heck, So it's kind of dumb, but it's just like a little more cartoony and less leaning into it, I guess. But nonetheless, still a cool game. And definitely recommend Cave Story or The End Is Nigh or Super Meat Boy or any of the games from these developers. And I kind of want to check out Mugenics, even though it doesn't seem fully up my alley. But
yeah, I do too.
The reviews have been like, raving enough that I'm like, I'm just curious at least.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the same boat that way, where like the themes of these games have always been like put me off, but everything else about them has always been so good. Like I went through a massive Binding of Isaac phase in particular, even though, you know, like I did not revel at all in the themes or the gross out stuff of any of that. Just the gameplay loop was so freaking good that like it just locked me in for probably close to 100 hours on, I think it was a 3DS version that I was into.
Oh, wow.
Like Afterbirth or like one of those. Yeah. And that was obviously like pre-podcast. I was looking to see like, did I ever talk about that? I don't think so. But
I'll tell you what, though, you might have just sold me on giving that game a shot. Because like I was like, I always wanted to, because it was like people would talk about that along with like Enter the Gungeon and all those other roguelikes that I was into at the time too. So like, I was like, man, I want to be into this game, and I like stuff that the people who made it have made. Yeah. But I don't know. I just couldn't get over that hump. But
it's more like Smash TV esque almost a bit too. I would say it's
or even like great. Even a little like original Zelda a little bit. Like it has that like dungeon structure and stuff. So I'll have to get around to checking that out at this point, even just to satisfy my curiosity, if nothing else,
Yep.
So, but heck yeah, I think I can leave it there for those two. But I will say I'm looking forward to continuing on with both of them. I think I'll be able to polish off Cave Story pretty quickly here in another hour or two, of playing. And then End Is Nigh, I have no idea how long that game is, but it's feeling great so far.
Sweet.
And the tumors, like where they locate them, they are usually pretty damn satisfying to get. Like a little more well placed than like the band-aids in Super Meat Boy. I felt like some of those were way too hard. Like I was just like, I'm never gonna figure out how to get that. No. Where these are like, I can usually, if I can't do it right away, I can usually figure out what I'm supposed to do, and then I just have to execute it. So, awesome stuff. But
nice.
I think I can kick it over to you here, Randall, for some of the stuff that you've been playing. I think you might have even teased this one last time we I
did.
Sat down and talked. Yeah.
Of course, I have not had time to play like anything else since, so thank goodness I had this in the back pocket. But
heck,
more Wii U action here. Twilight Princess HD. Yes. So I had spoken before about how sweet playing Wind Waker HD on Wii U was with the gamepad, dual screen approach, and just how clean that shit is to play a Zelda that way with two screens. Mm-hmm. I mean, anybody that's played, granted, some of those DS ones aren't the best example, but at least is a proof of concept that, putting item inventory management / mini maps on a secondary screen can just feel so nice for many reasons without like truly pausing the action that's happening otherwise. And, that stands true here. I was also like Wind Waker. I had Wind Waker on GameCube, but didn't finish it then. Played a lot of it, but didn't finish it. Similarly, had Twilight Princess on Wii played a lot of it, but didn't finish it then. So, was able to beat all of Wind Waker HD on Wii U, and now I'm playing Twilight Princess HD with my daughter. We basically like protect Saturday mornings for playing a bit of Yoshi's Woolly World. Woolly World's the older one.
Yeah, the Wii one or Wii U one. Yeah.
Yoshi's Woolly World, and now we've been playing a lot more specifically, and I always ask her like, hey, which one do you want to play? Which one do you want to play first? And like Twilight Princess has been the one that we've been really burning on this last month or so, like big time. And she's definitely loving the whole Zelda story and concept, and even just getting a sword and just swiping at some grass and watching rupees fly out and stuff, of course, which is always satisfying.
So is she playing or is she watching?
Both. Nice. So yeah, like she'll be like, can I try that? And granted, we've spent like 8 hours, but we've also messed around in that first town for way too long, just because
there's a lot
we had to go. There's a lot to do. You have to pick up all the chickens and launch yourself from a high platform over and over again and glide. You have to throw the pumpkins into the water. You have to go fishing. You have to, play the whatever thistle so that the owl comes through, and then you can aim your owl at random things and watch what happens. So
you got to herd some goats.
Herd some goats, hurry! And then like the goat comes down, and you have to, and then it takes me like 5 times to figure out that I needed to hold the A button down and not just press it at the right time.
I remember it being bad. On my third playthrough, I'm still like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah. Like, okay, let me talk to this guy again to reset the encounter once again, because I failed once again.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it happened again, and I messed up again at a different circumstance, even though I should have known better.
Glad it's the universal experience, because like I know it's coming, and I'm still so bad at it.
Yes, same. Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure I pressed that in time, but no, you didn't hold it. You didn't set your feet early enough, of course, to throw. I don't know why we needed to throw the animal on its side either, but that's what we got to do. So.
It's the precursor for the sumo mini game. So
seriously,
hardest boss in a Zelda game.
Yeah, but this is just like so much fun to play. I don't know. I felt like the Wind Waker, from what I remember anyway, Wind Waker going from GameCube to this HD version seemed like a bigger change to me than going from the Wii to Wii U for Twilight Princess. But it's still like clean, and like I said, love to have that map on the bottom of, especially like I'm in the forest dungeon, I get the compass and whatever else. Oh, yep, here's all the points where the remaining treasure chests and the monkeys are that I need to collect. That's, let's just cut through the BS and not get lost like I tend to do with these sort of things. That's great too, and kind of keeps a pace for my daughter while she's just like watching it and not, playing it herself too, to keep it, entertaining that way, I guess. And she's helping me decide like, what are we going to do next, and all that fun stuff too. So right now we're at Kakariko Village, Twilight version. So we're still like early game, of course, but we've gone back into Wolf Link mode. I probably should have explained some of what this game is. I'm just assuming that all of the listeners
knows
about this Zelda when less people played this one compared to other Zeldas. But this one more of in lieu, like it's a more traditional Zelda. It is not your Breath of the Wild or that sort of open world Zelda. This is more of the what used to be the Ocarina of Time style Zelda. In reaction to the Zelda that came out on GameCube, which Wind Waker is incredible. Don't be a hater, but. Which I don't think anybody is anymore.
Yeah, I think that.
And actually, just to like, I know I don't even need to be the one to say this or anything, but like, not just the like GameCube to Wii U jump, but I think it's just that art style, just obviously just transition to HD. Like you really see how sharp and crisp that looks. Where like jumping from 480p Twilight Princess to 1080p, it's like it's still kind of. it is what it is.
And
it's
you ain't getting 1080p.
PS2 game.
I think you're getting
it's
720, p still. And I think both were widescreen. Even I think the Wii version had a widescreen mode, if I remember correctly. So it wasn't even like that big of a difference that way compared to Wind Waker.
Right. That's a good point too. Yeah, I didn't even think about the full screen side of things.
So I've also been playing Twilight Princess, but with my wife and on the GameCube. So I've been playing the blurriest version of this game. But like, it still looks great. But like,
it does.
I remember like playing this, like the GameCube version, I was like, oh, this is so much closer to Ocarina of Time in terms of fidelity than like I remembered it being. But like,
definitely,
I remember playing it and then realizing is like, oh, the like water drop animation, they use that same water drop animation in Tears of the Kingdom. And then it was like, the like every single insect model is the same insect model they use in Breath in the Wild. It's like, whoa. And like some of the textures look like they're the same textures that they used in like Ocarina of Time, just up-resed. Like they have a higher they use the lossless file and they just have a better fidelity this time through. But like, it is kind of stunning to see how much of like, I don't know, Zelda like assets get reused or something, but it like still feels like it makes it feel like, oh yeah, this is the same universe, or like there's a continuity between each title.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
I agree. Yeah. And like, that's especially so with Ocarina and Twilight Princess, I would say there's just feels like a through line there. Yeah. And like the
a
pseudo
remake of Ocarina of
It's
Time.
like the next gen. The next gen version of that formula.
Yeah.
For sure.
I would agree with that. No, it's cool though. I'm happy for the excuse to play it, and the whole wolf link and like the senses gives kind of a different dimension to that, and you get basically two different versions of the same areas because of that sometimes, which is pretty cool.
And gotta hand it to Nintendo for doing the wolf link when you're like following a scent, and all of the like fade, like they've turned the entire background into a dark black thing, and you're like following a mist line. Like, what a great way to like not have to render any of the environment. Like, really fucking smart like ideas in the design.
Yeah, that was probably a design conceit, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't think because. I didn't even think about like they've done so many of like the light world, dark world things in Zelda games in the past, and it kind of has a little bit of that flavor. I kind of never put that together,
and they keep doing it.
yeah, they do. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a great point. The only other thing I can think to say, at least in these early stages of the game, and obviously I'm going to keep playing this, but the motion control aiming with the gamepad just feels real good.
Nice.
So
yeah.
That's kind of a cool advantage too. With there's a decent amount of kind of first person aiming ish stuff going on. So like it
feels, arrows specifically, or like hook shot? Like what kind of stuff are we talking?
Yeah, like use the slingshot, use aiming the owl, things of that nature.
About the owl, yeah,
that's very fascinating, especially like. When I started playing on the GameCube, and I realized that like we've come a long way in terms of like customization and controls and settings and options and stuff, but everything's hardwired into inverted y-axis, and you have no way of changing that. But luckily for me, that is my default. But like, yeah, it's really interesting how you're describing playing it on like with motion controls and on the Wii, and I'm playing it on GameCube, and how much of like a lot of the special moves that you learn are basically press A to win. And like, I'm also not against that. I think that is kind of fun to just be like, oh, you press A in a direction and Link does this cool animation and kills the enemy in one hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true too. Yeah, like the final kill shot sort of stuff. That way is all, press A to win.
Yeah.
Or, get all of these people in this area of effect to kill them with let go of the button, kind of thing. But it's fine. It's kind of more of like a moody, story driven experience. So I think it works.
Yeah, that seems
and honestly
almost
makes the
go ahead.
jump for like it into like the Muso genre kind of feel like very natural.
Oh yeah, that's a great
move.
call. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
And I was gonna say too, I feel like that also like keeping things like the momentum just going like that probably helps for playing like with Fiona and just being like, oh, like we're keeping things moving. We're not like getting lost and
yes,
I don't know.
That's all I got to say, though, now. And John can talk about other light world and dark world experiences like he was trying to earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, I've even though I beat Tears of the Kingdom like for the very first time. The original.
Really?
Nice. Yeah,
oh
heck
yeah. I guess I hadn't. Oh, you might have not been on the podcast when I talked about it last.
I should probably listen to the podcast more. often.
You really don't need to.
To be fair, I don't remember you mentioning beating it then either. I could be wrong.
Could have talked about it like separately and not on the podcast at all. But
okay,
I did beat File of Tears of the Kingdom.
Hell,
and then I was like, all right,
nicely done,
cool,
man.
I'm done with this. I've seen it through. I played that was my third file of this game. Let's move away and play other things. And then I didn't move away and play other things, and I started a fourth file.
Good Lord.
And what I did was
Amazing.
it's so funny because I apparently did like the exact same thing with Breath of the Wild, where I'd come up with different like challenges where, this one I'm not going to use any of or I'm not going to do like basically a 3-heart run or stuff like things that I've done historically with other like Zelda games in the past. Like Glenn and I from Boss Fight, Kevin and my bands, like we did a 3-heart run of Ocarina of Time back when we lived together.
Ooh,
hell yeah, man.
that's great.
And so
That's
like
awesome.
I've always enjoyed like putting on like these self restrictions on it. And so
Yes.
this fourth file, which because Tears of the Kingdom is a sequel to Breath of the Wild, if you have a Breath of the Wild file, it will import some data over. And I found out it's like, oh yeah, I did play 4 separate files of Breath of the Wild apparently, because I still have stuff to carry over to a 4th Tears of the Kingdom file. Good.
I didn't know there was any like actual connective tissue between those games.
Yeah.
Like save file wise. That's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. But like this 4th file for Tears of the Kingdom, I decided I would play in Pro HUD mode, which means that there is nothing on the screen.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you a mini map, doesn't show you anything. It is just your character and like the world around you. And then things will pop up like if you take damage or if you're using stamina and stuff like that. But like it is just like the game itself. And I'm also playing with like some health restrictions and armor restrictions, so I'm still like there's not really like the constant scaling up of like the power fantasy. Like I'm still very much constantly in danger all the time.
It's
and
the
like
best.
Between those two things, like the HUD mode, like of like having nothing on but like the objects and player on the screen, has your eye like drawn to such different things as you play the game, as opposed to like, let me check on my health, let me check on the map, am I going in the right direction? Instead, it's like, what are my eyes being drawn to, like purposefully, because everything's designed to do that. And like interactable items will have like little sparkles to them, or like you'll be looking at the environment more closely and seeing like other hidden ways and other like paths that you can potentially go down. And it's like, as someone who also has played like at least 8 times of this map through Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, like part of the game is me like memorizing locations and memorizing where to go and getting a familiarity with a map. And like part of that is also kind of what I wanted to talk about, which is like I've been playing Death Stranding a lot more, because also the nice format of this podcast where, we have these resolution games and we go back to them like force me to go back and play these games that I want to play, but for whatever reason, yeah. So I've been playing more Death Stranding, and I've been really interested in the way that like Death Stranding forces you or like encourages you to move around the map in the same way that like Tears of the Kingdom, like if you go to one place, it will give you an item to go to another place, or like make it like easier to like move from one place to the other and keep the like momentum going. And there was a similar thing kind of happening in Death Stranding, where I would go towards like the edge of the map and realize, okay, I've never been over there. Like, I think I can maybe like push a little bit further over there and then get into like a situation where like either I will find, you know, lost cargo or something that will bring me to another area of the map. And like,
nice.
It's really interesting to like, I don't know, figure out what like you want the games to be, because like Death Stranding, I've also been kind of avoiding a lot of main quest stuff just because there's so much to do, and like
absolutely
a lot of exploration and things that like will, you know, leave little breadcrumbs for you to go down a new area. Or if you're looking, he's like, okay, well, I never have gone up that way, but I think I can see that there's like maybe a new area. And then you find that there's an entire new section of the map that like was always there. You could have always gone there from the beginning, but it relies on you having like the want to explore and move around. And like they've purposefully designed the map, like every single path or mountain or like rock and river is like has been placed for you to encounter as a problem and be like, okay, well, how do I get over this, or how do I move past this? And they're very really special games if you're a person who really just wants to like see how every single rock has ever been placed in this map.
Pure exploration though. Like that's so cool. Like I would do the same thing, I think. Like that's how I treated like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, is like, it's open world. I'm not going to do what you tell me. Like I'm just going to go, something over here just seems more interesting to me than whatever you're trying to like scope me into doing right now. Like I want to do that.
Yeah. A fascinating thing between both of the games is that I think that Tears of the Kingdom has the like Zonai devices, which are like you can do a lot of vehicle stuff or like things that make moving and traversing over the map very easy, so that you can skip a lot of the like individual like moment to moment moving over a mountain or moving through like difficult terrain. And you have the ability to make infrastructure in Death Stranding by like literally making highways that you can drive over rough terrain that you would otherwise have to like climb. But it takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of resources to do that too.
Sim City.
But once you make that
I didn't know there was
highway,
any element of that in that game. Yeah, that's cool.
But like once you make it, it trivializes the entire like section that you had to like otherwise slog through. And like it's very interesting to like, I've also been limiting the amount of Zonai devices that I can make in Tears of the King, like my most recent one, and like forcing myself to be on my feet more or be on a horse more. And, you know, driving your motorcycle on a highway is the frictionless version of traversal, whereas like trying to take that same motorcycle but over like just a small stretch of rocky terrain turns it into like such a more harrowing experience. And like it's very interesting to like think of both of these titles in like playing them simultaneously and getting kind of a similar experience out of them, even to the point where I was doing a story quest today of Death Stranding that involved me like I accepted a quest like right after I beat like the previous one. Is like, yeah, let's keep the ball rolling and see that. And then like immediately I realized I was in so much over my head, and it felt exactly like stumbling across a Lionel in Tears of the Kingdom, where I was like, oh no, we cannot do this right now. I need to like go home and like recalibrate before I can even attempt this. And then I did, and then I overcame it, and it was really fun.
That's awesome. That's
awesome.
so good.
That's such a satisfying feeling.
It's the best.
Yeah. But no, it's been fun, and like, yeah, I'm gonna be playing both of these games forever. Just they've got a lot of endless stuff to talk about.
A lot of meat on those bones, that's for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
Well, that's all for me for today.
Heck yeah.
That's so good.
Heck yeah. Well, I don't want to not to like just keep getting stuck on Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, but I did do a little bit of Breath of the Wild with turning the HUD off.
Yeah.
And holy shit, like it just makes that game so much more immersive. I do
It's
like all that, having
Yeah.
the maps, and yeah, it's just gorgeous though.
It is.
Really is. Even just playing on the original Switch version, so I can only imagine firing up on Switch 2 and seeing, you know, run a little smoother. Even though I'll still stand by my point of the 60, 120 frames per second stuff. I don't know that I like it, but personally, you know, that's just a preference thing. But
I did boot the Switch 2 version of Breath of the Wild.
I saw that.
I can't say that it like I wasn't like, oh my god, it's night and day compared to the Switch version. To be honest with you, it just felt like, oh, I'm playing Breath of the Wild again. I don't know.
Yeah, and to me,
this is what I remember. But yeah,
like something about the higher frame rates just to me gives it a little bit of that like. If you ever like watch something on a TV that has like the motion blur smoothing on or something like that, it kind of gives it a little bit of that quality. And for some reason, I always hate that when I'm watching something. And in a gameplay, I know that people like I see on threads all the time, like, oh, the reaction times on the frame rates, like it's like, there's no way that my fingers are processing 120 frames in the process of one fucking second.
Or he was pretty fucking smooth with at 120. I'm here to tell you, I'm a bit of a sicko. I know this, but fighting games, shmups, Elden Rings.
I guess this is coming from someone who's never played anything at 120 frames per second. Yeah, so maybe it's just me talking without having ever experienced the quality of life improvements. But
I will beat a game 3 times before I learn that it has a parry mechanic. Like
brutal.
Yeah, I'm with Kevin on this one. my input time is too dumb and too unskilled to notice.
I just love that there are these games that you can play in different ways naturally, and it doesn't punish you too terribly for it. I think that's kind of incredible that we're at that point.
It's like whatever equipment you got to play it on, like, you know, so be it. It'll work.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
That's awesome though. That's awesome. I'm definitely excited too. I've been itching to pop Breath of the Wild back in too. So this is the nudge I needed for that.
That's not beat it. I gotta beat it.
Yeah, I've never beaten it either. So maybe if John's polishing off Tears of the Kingdom over here, the least we can do is beat Breath of the Wild.
I got all
Let me tell you, I beat Tears of the Kingdom once. I don't think I need to do it again. It wasn't that special.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Like I think every Zelda final boss is kind of underwhelming. I'm trying to think of which one's my favorite, and I don't really think any of them is my favorite.
I feel like except Majora's Mask had like
I was
a
gonna
pretty
say
nice,
Majora's
like,
Mask
climax
too,
at least. Yeah, but
yeah,
it's so like weird and like kind of feels like it feels like a side Zelda game almost.
And
like,
I've never done it without the Fierce Deity mask, so it might also feel different if you do it.
Okay.
I have nothing to add to this conversation.
I don't know if I've ever beaten it proper myself. I think I've only ever watched a video of the final battle. I don't think I ever beat
It also
that
just
game.
feels very, I don't know the word I'm looking for.
N64.
No, like power fantasy. Like
Okay.
I don't think like if you beat Majora's Mask with the Fierce Deity mask, it is like I am the boss. Like there's no chance I'm going to fail this. I am so overpowered and like
that's not great.
Right.
Which is again that kind of Muso feeling of let me just mow through.
Yeah, that's fair.
The DNA was always there. I've wanted to do this from the beginning.
Heck yeah.
I got to play Hyrule Warriors again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are talking me into some Zelda. You already got me on a little Metroidvania kick. So I mean, Zelda, in at least going back to the older games, they're kind of like top-down Metroidvanias, for lack of a better definition. I mean, they really are. Oh, get this item, it unlocks this next area. It really is that same kind of gated progression. So
and depending on the Zelda, not even that gated.
Yeah, Link Between Worlds. God, what a game.
Maybe that's
Still
the one I need to pop in. Yeah, I've got that. I've only played a tiny bit of it.
I know. That's the thing is I know that's the Link to the Past map, and I've not played through Link to the Past. I'm like, well, I got to play Link to the Past first.
Same here.
You also do need to play Link to the Past. Link to the Past is very good.
But I wasn't a Super Nintendo guy, so I didn't then. But I have no excuse. Obviously, I loved the Zelda games on NES. So yeah.
I do think Link to the Past is a little bit overrated. I love that game. It's good, but I like almost every other Zelda game better than that.
But it also came out after Zelda 2. So
yeah, that's true. It was like a return to form in Super Nintendo form.
Yeah.
It very much. But to me, and I know everybody loves Super Metroid, but I feel like Super Metroid and Link to the Past, for me, both, they kind of miss the mark for me. I just don't like the way they feel to control that much. They're a little bit like confusing, or I just get lost. Like when I get to that Dark World Rabbit section and Link to the Past, I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
Oh man, they've been doing the same game every time. Like, let's just double up this map. Let's use the exact same thing, and then they do it again with like Link Between Worlds is the Tears of the Kingdom, where they're like, hey, you know this map already. Like, let's have you use that innate knowledge and just expand on it in such an incredible way. Oh, Link Between Worlds, what a fucking game.
Oh, that's what everybody said too.
I might fire that one up even before ever. I've played enough Link to the Past over the years to where like I've never beaten it, but I kind of have a general idea of the map and stuff. So I might go right into Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, it's more of just like, hey, I know where to go next. It's like I have familiarity.
Yeah, I know where the Zoras are at.
Yeah, 100%.
Heck yeah. Well, that might be the next game I jump into here while I'm like kind of firing through these Metroidvanias and whatnot.
Nice.
So
nice.
We'll see. But I think if you're good to leave it there, John, I think we're good to wrap things up here for the evening.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, once again, we are officially back. You can find us at pursuingpixels.com.
That's
thanks to a little extra legwork from Randall. And if you're looking for the podcast, at least on the Spotify end, it like somehow split our feed into two separate feeds for a brief moment. But I reached out to Spotify. We got everything all reconvened into the main feed here. So I think everything should be back to normal. If for whatever reason it's not back to normal, I guess reach out and let us know. But I think we should be back up and running. Sorry for the technical glitches over the last couple weeks, but yeah, you can find us on pursuingpixels.com or on the internet at pursuingpixels.com and pretty much anywhere else. And yeah, until next week, we'll catch you then and take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pursuing Pixels. My name's Kevin Portelli, and I'm here tonight with John Hines. Hello. John, did we lose you?
He's got the face that he's ready to say the words.
John, did we lose you? There he is.
Yeah, I know. I'm guessing I froze.
Yeah, like literally, it's like right at the same exact time that I was talking to you.
Yeah, like you lead, like my camera, like as soon as I was like, let's get started, and then you like both of your screens froze, and I was like, cool. Did we start?
That was perfect. I was literally after like a couple seconds, I was like, oh man, that lag got way worse. And I was like, oh wait, nope. John just didn't hear me at all.
Yep.